Welcome everybody to this week's live stream. I know this is not scheduled like I normally schedule it every Sunday, but first of all, shout out to Rick. Glad to hear that you're in your house in San Miguel. We're going to be here for probably another 2 weeks. Reach out to me, Rick, and maybe we can get together before I go back. I'm actually going to explain what happened and why I'm going to be kind of off the air for a little while. And I have no idea how long I'm going to be off the air. But I'm in a state right now, still of a little bit in shock. So if I don't sound all that right, please excuse me. But I'm going to go over why I'm going to be leaving YouTube for a little while. But I'm not gone permanently. Shout out to Nature Lover, Rick Joyce, Marcus from Puerto Vallarta, Susan and Rick, and Don, and of course, I already said Don and Rick. And let me see here. William Stoneman, Stephanie Beckman, great to hear. Blaine, great to see you as always. Basically, I don't know if everybody's aware, but we got hit by, not here in San Miguel, but as you guys know, I built a house in Monterrey, Mexico. Hey, gringos are us. Great to hear you. See you. Actually, not hear you. I built a house in Monterrey, Mexico. It took over close to 2 years to build. We were there most of the time. And so we built this house in Monterrey for several reasons. I have family there. My in-laws live there, and also my doctors are there. And I had decided to do an investment in property because the peso was kind of not stable, and well, not the peso, but the dollar. And I took all my money and I put it into this property, which is a good investment. I invested kind of outside of the Monterrey city limits in the direction of where it was going, where it's growing. As you all know, we had a tropical storm last, actually, Buck stops here. Welcome, Cindy, welcome. But as I was saying, we had a tropical storm that hit the Texas coast, Mexico coast, that kind of went kind of the south of Monterrey. Monterrey right now is flooded. Most of the highways are closed down. Highway 57, if any of you all are going to be traveling Highway 57, they're closed. Highway 57 is closed in certain areas. The flooding is really bad. Monterrey, some of the major roads are down. Well, long story short, my house in Monterrey got flooded. We weren't there. When the rain started, everything was going fine. I have a smart home there. At about 5 o'clock in the morning, I get a notification that everything went offline. So we sent some people over to the house, and literally my house had at least 4 to 5 inches of water inside. Water was coming out the front door. And so doesn't look good. Furniture ruined, all sorts of stuff. It turns out that looks like a fault in construction. We don't know yet until we get there. It wasn't the area that we live in because there was no flooding in the area, but it was a fault in the construction. And already looking at it, we're not sure what's going to happen. It may go into legal processes. I don't know. We may have to touch on that later, but I don't know what we're going to do. We've been in contact with the builder, and so we're going to head back to Monterrey. The problem is I can't head back to Monterrey right now. Everything's closed down. Actually, the road from the airport to get to my in-laws' house is underwater. I mean, not only underwater, but half of it is destroyed. So there's a lot of destruction there in Monterrey. We're looking at about a $500,000 loss if we end up losing the property over this. I don't know yet. I have no idea. But we are taking a big loss and stuff that was ruined inside the house. But we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. So I'm here to say that I'm going to have to take a break from YouTube. Yeah, actually, Gringos, it was actually on the top of the hill. All the water was going down to the bottom of the neighborhood. None of the other houses flooded. That's why we think it has to do with the construction. We had construction workers out there doing whatever they could to direct the water away from the house. And we had all our neighbors in there that went in there and swept all the water out and everything else. But a lot of equipment got destroyed, probably a couple of in the tens and 20s, maybe close to $100,000 worth of stuff inside the house got destroyed. So we're trying to figure out what's going on. But we can't get back there. We're going to be traveling back now in 2 weeks. Hopefully the flooding will subside. Road repairs will start taking place. At least we'll have a lane that we can get from the airport to my in-laws' house. And also the highway that goes to where I live is also underwater right now. So we decided to wait a week. And we're going to have to go with, well, we're going to have to talk with the builders. Getting an inspector out there, a structural engineer out there to take a look at it, to see what kind of damage was done, structural damage, because the water was coming out from underneath. So we'll have to see what happens. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I know I've been really busy lately too. I've only been able to come on live with our Jesse. Welcome. I've only been able to come on live and do these live streams, and I haven't really been putting out a lot of videos. I've been back and forth to Monterrey. I've had a lot of videos on the burner that I want to do, but I haven't been able to. So that's why I kind of think it's not fair to my audience that, I try to keep going and everything else. I just need to regroup. My wife and I are kind of in shock. We thought I had some water sensors in the one of the rooms. The water sensor went off, and I thought, oh, it's just one of the little leaks, because what you'll find here in Mexico a lot of times with the construction is you have little things here, details. A lot of our neighbors had leaks coming into the windows. Yeah, Jesse, actually what we're talking about right now is my house in Monterrey flooded. That's why I'm going to be leaving YouTube for a while. So I'm not really in a position right now to be doing scripts and videos and also even lives. It took a lot for me to come out tonight to do this. But like I said, I'm not, and I know I'm not looking for sympathy here, but I want to explain why I'm going to kind of be disappearing for a while. And this is why, because I want to concentrate on getting all of this stuff done. We have a lot of cleanup to do when we get back with the house. Everything's on top of beds and furniture right now, what they could save. But I'm not going to be, I'm going to be back. I believe in my mission. I believe in making sure that we give everybody the truth. I'm not out here, like I said, this is not my job. This is a personal side thing that I do to try to help the public. So this is not a matter of I'm going to be losing all this revenue because I'm leaving YouTube or anything like that. No, it has to do with being able to give you the right content, the best content that I can. And not only giving you the best content, but also making sure that I give you accurate content. And even if I have to be corrected on the content, actually, we were talking today. I was in Mexico Relocation Guide. We were talking about temporary import permits and Baja and free zone and permanent residence. And I actually made a misstatement, and someone was saying, no, And actually, when I went back and checked, I made a misstatement because things have changed. And I went back and checked, and it's like, oh shoot, they were right. And I quickly said, hey, I was wrong. Things have changed since, even though I was arguing with you that this is the way this law works. So that's what I want to build in this community is the honesty, the integrity. If it's something that needs to be corrected, it's corrected. The problem that I see right now with YouTube and social media is, hey, Laura, how's it going? Oh, wow. In Rio Doce, you were affected by the water and the flooding. Las Cruces. Wow. You know what? Rio Doce is not close to Santa Fe, but I should talk to I'm from Santa Fe, Laura. So actually, I haven't talked to my uncle in a while, but I need to call them up to see if they got hit with any rain. Actually, they need rain right now. But I want to keep that honesty going. The problem I see with social media a lot of times, even Facebook, people are pushing this. I have 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, so you need to believe me. Or, I have the largest Facebook group on all of expats, so therefore all the information that comes from my Facebook group is the best. And this is not how we need to operate. We need to operate with what's the correct information. And I really do think, and I've even seen it too, because I'll call out. I don't care. I'll call out anybody, YouTuber, person, wherever it be in a Facebook group. If they're not giving or being honest, I'll call it out. I don't have that problem. I don't care if I hurt someone's feelings. Even though some of those people that I've called out in the past are people that I actually look up to or think that they're the best. Like I said, I still recommend some of these people, but I still called out the information that they had inaccurate. So I'm a very honest person. I don't have anything against anybody. I don't call anybody out because I'm jealous, or I don't call anybody out because I don't like their YouTube channel. If they have useful information on their YouTube channel, great. But if they're also acting like they're trying to take advantage of you, I'm the first one that'll come out and tell you that. I don't have a problem in that, and I want to keep that going. And I learn from you guys just as much as you might learn from me. Many people have, as a matter of fact, even on that issue that I was talking about, this person contacted me on Facebook and said, "Hey, you seem to know a lot about Mexico. What do you think?" And the first things out of my mind, when I returned the message was, the first thing out of my mouth was, "Hey, I'm not an expert, but I do know a lot about Mexico because of my YouTube channel and my past experiences. But if I don't answer your questions, I apologize." And I actually learned some new stuff, because he said, basically, the way I found out that these regulations had changed is, he said, "I already talked to my lawyer that's handling my immigration." Not my immigration stuff. I think he talked to his lawyer that was handling his closing on his house, which probably is a notario, which probably knows more than I do. So I went and I called my brother-in-law, and he said, "Yeah, the things changed since the last time we talked." And I'm like, "Oh shoot." So I got back to him. See, so I learned something. I learned something even from somebody that didn't even know, that was asking me for advice. And I think that's what's important, that we can always learn something. I'm not going to hide behind an ego. We're not all right. And we're not, that's what's important, is getting you guys the most accurate information, regardless of who's right and who's wrong. And, one of the things that I noticed in my last video, I posted it on, I don't post on Facebook that much, my videos. I don't do it to promote my videos. I do it when I think there's something important. And I really thought this last video was important, the Dollar app video. One of the things that I did find out, one of my viewers, I don't know if that person was a viewer, but a person that was responded to my video on my Facebook group said, "Oh, check out Trustpilot." I did. They tend to have a low score. And it just so happens that there was a review several days ago of someone saying that their money was frozen, which could be because of the collapse of Synapse. So, you know, I feel, wow, I did. But when I posted this in other Facebook groups, people reported it, whatever it might be. I found my video being deleted because I offended some people. Some people tried to defend the person that supposedly did this video because he's a very well-known YouTuber and supposedly thought I was trying to badmouth him. I'm not trying to badmouth him. But the truth is he doesn't live in Mexico. And he's telling his audience that I transfer money to Mexico all of the time using this app. Now, how do you transfer money all the time using an app when you don't even live in the country that you're saying you transfer money to? That, and not only that, but it said paid promotion on the upper left-hand side. And I happen to know because I saw his price list of how much he charges to do these videos. And it's in the thousands of dollars. So, I know a lot of you guys are fans of this person, but it's not because I'm trying to put him down. I use his videos all the time. I watched his videos, but when I did make an argument that, hey, look, this guy's doing dishonest behavior. And actually not only that, but he used to be a cop, which I don't agree with. I happen to be a retired law enforcement. And that type of loss of integrity is a real big deal for us, even when you're retired. And that's a shame. If I was doing that kind of stuff, I would be looked down in the law enforcement community, even as a retired law enforcement officer. Our integrity is our word. And that's what I'm trying to bring to this channel. And I want you to know that the integrity is going to remain the primary portion of my channel. And I really hate to leave because I know that there's going to be a lot of questions. I know there's going to be a lot of things. There's a lot of changes coming up in the government right now. I may still try to do a video here and there when I'm feeling up to it. I'm not going to be able to take a lot of equipment. Well, a lot of my equipment in Monterrey got destroyed, and I'm going to be going very light. I don't know how long I'm going to be in Monterrey because we're flying there. We can't drive because all the highways are closed. So I'm going to take a minimal amount of equipment, probably an iPad Pro to answer emails and stuff like that. But I won't have a computer to do video. Well, I can video edit on my iPad Pro, but I won't have all the DSLR cameras and stuff that I use to film my videos. And a lot of my equipment got destroyed. So, I really do appreciate your support. And all I ask is you guys hang in there. When I do come back, if I do come back, I'll, the only thing is you're not going to get the quality of lives. Maybe you'll probably get me in the back of my in-laws' house on my iPad doing lives. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do equipment-wise. I don't want to quit. I'm not here to quit. I just think I need to regroup, and I need to be able to give you 100%. I don't give 100% all the time because I say my family's my priority, and that's true. I don't give 110% because, number one, this isn't my job. I don't make money off of this. And like I said, my family is my priority. And I think I need to make a decision to give my family 110%. And when I can come back and give 100% or 110% to my audience, then I will be back. And if I do see something that's really grave, very dangerous, something like that, I may come out with a video. May not be the best of quality. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. What's going to happen? So if you have any questions, I'm willing to, Marcus, you understand. I see that you definitely understand. You're retired LE as well here as well. And so, let's, like I said, if I can, I'll try to get some live streams going from where I'm at. I don't know. I had some videos planned, but I'm just going to have to put them on the back burner. And actually, it's probably not going to be current information anymore. So I'll probably get back on the bandwagon when I can. So anything else? If you guys want to ask some questions, I'm going to go back to the comments now. Enough about my disaster. But like I said, let's keep an honest community. Let's keep things going. And I have nothing against other YouTubers making money. I have nothing against expat services. More power to them. YouTube's a hard industry. I'm lucky if I get 1,000 views on my videos. But my thing is, if I get 1,000 views, that's 1,000 people I reached. That's 1,000 more people than that know the new information than that knew it, that didn't know it before or want to learn. So that's important. That's what's important to me. It doesn't matter how many views, because I don't, like I said, but there's a lot of YouTubers that hustle out there. I got to give them props for hustling, but be honest and be on the up and up. And, you don't need to lie to your audience. And just because your audience I tell people sometimes what they don't want to hear because I get in trouble a lot of times. And maybe you need to tell people what they don't want to hear, because that's being honest. Because if it's the truth is what always, there's a saying, actually, it's a saying in Latin. I forgot the actual saying, but in English it's translated into the truth conquers all. In the end, what was it? The truth always comes out. And in the end, the truth conquers all. And that's what we need to do. We need to concentrate on the truth. And like I said, if I'm not telling the truth and someone corrects me, I'm the first person to say, hey, I was wrong, because that's what I want you to do. So let's keep this going. I really love this. I learned from you just as much as you learned from me. And, like I said, I don't have anything against it. And if I do call out somebody, and I even say it's only for this video. It's not for their reputation. I'm not here to ruin anybody's reputation. Let me see here. LL was okay. Sorry to hear the news. Was moving to Querétaro for a more stable climate, but have heard there have been tornadoes, unusually high temperatures. LL, yeah, it's been hot, but I'll tell you what, actually it's been hot. I'm in San Miguel, which is 40 miles down the road. Actually 40 miles from where I live. But I'll tell you what, LL, Querétaro, even though they've had some issues, there's been some unusual weather, even here in San Miguel. When we got here, it's hot. It is nowhere as hot as other places. As a matter of fact, right before we left Monterrey, we were leaving 100-degree temperatures with humidity. We got here and it's in the 90s, and 90s is considered upper 90s, and it's considered hot. And actually, in some days it was the same temperature, but it's dry over here. So it is a more stable climate. I would always say I think the climate all over the world is getting a little bit crazy. I would still say Querétaro is a good place to go with the climate. Last summer it was unusually hot. This summer it's unusually hot. But the heat here is nowhere. As a matter of fact, my wife has a friend. We went out to eat dinner, and she had just gotten back from Hermosillo, and she works for a company that does evaluations on things, and basically she went to Hermosillo, and she said it was like 125 degrees, literally. She said it was like an oven. So if you compare Querétaro, San Miguel to the climate here, I'm telling you, we're elated. We don't have an air conditioner here. We sleep with the windows open, even when it has gotten hot. I guess because we are acclimatized to Monterrey. To us, it's not hot. But we have perspired here and everything else, but it's nothing in comparison. I mean, in Monterrey, it was so bad that you just go out to unload the groceries from your car and you're drenched in sweat. So I think you should still consider Querétaro. Querétaro's a great place. It's an up and coming place, really is. Laura, thanks for the kind words. Take all the time you need to deal with your best wishes. And Nature Lover, I think your channel is the best. I appreciate your channel, and Gringos Are Us too. Thank you, Nature Lover. Thank you for that, and but hopefully I'll be back soon. Anna, you the best. We will be here when you are ready. You honestly, you have honesty and integrity. Unfortunately, not so many people can say that these days. Yeah, Anna, we're growing up in different times nowadays. It's sad to say, but we are. Buck stops here. You're right. Some YouTubers will lie about their destination for clicks. I've called out plenty of them in their comment section. Yeah, well, and it's not just about lying about their destination, buck stops. It's also about kind of trying to make the truth rosy, or trying to say something that you think they want to hear, or maybe twisting the truth a little bit so that it'll sound like something you want to hear. That's what I don't like, because here's the bottom line about YouTube, and I'm going to say this right now. Anybody that's making revenue off of YouTube, and they have an audience that they need to make sure that they please. I mean, it's just like a TV station. How does this TV station make money? They make money off of advertisement. They make money off of viewers. They make money off of people watching their television show. So it's in their best interest to keep you watching. And if that television show gives you a bad TV program or bad news that you don't want to hear, and you're like, I never want to watch that TV station anymore, they lose that viewer. So you need to understand, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm not here to criticize the TV industry, and I'm not here to criticize YouTube. But sometimes when we need to be frank, we need to be frank. And if there's something happening, we need to tell the truth. We can't sugarcoat it. We can't sit there and say, laws are just suggestions, don't worry about it. Everybody's doing it. This is totally legal, when it kind of isn't, but it is at the same time. We're talking about border runs. It's not legal to live here on an FMM, on a tourist FMM. That is totally illegal. If you look at the Mexican law, it's not legal. But it is legal in a sense, because the immigration officer gives you permission to be here for 180 days. So the minute the immigration officer says, okay, but here's what people don't understand. What people don't understand is it's the immigration officer that's going to determine whether you live here or not. So if he determines, I don't care, and gives you 180 days, well, then it's totally legal. But to walk up and say, I want 180, well, it's, if you're not lying, if you say, oh, I want 180 days, and he gives it to you, he doesn't, he doesn't. But what I'm trying to say is that we can't sit here and say, oh, don't worry, run to the border every 180 days, because it's totally legal. No, it's not totally legal. You need to understand how it works. And, there's so much misinformation that goes on there. And like I said, I even wanted to do a video about these. And I have their stuff, and I have a script written up. And maybe next week I'm going to be tied up doing this. I usually stream these live events, and then I have a sound engineer that mixes it. Well, not me. I work with him. He's the one that is asked to record. So he records the live performance, and then he mixes it, and then I remaster it into a video. And so I might be kind of busy next week doing that, because I already committed to it. But just like this couple that lost their van, they got a lot of people telling them, don't worry, you're going to be in a free zone. You don't need a tip. You don't need a tip. Yeah, but I don't know if they left out the fact that they were going to go through an area that you needed a tip, or they didn't understand. They thought maybe, okay, if I go through, but they didn't understand, because they were the victims of misinformation. So that's that I'm trying to do in my channel. Maybe I might not be able to reach everybody, Maybe people think I'm crazy or whatever for trying to make people aware. But to me, that doesn't matter because this is what I'm out to do. I spent 30 years in public service, and that's what my whole family was in public service. My uncles, my dad was a professor. Uh, one of my uncles worked with Cesar Chavez during the times of the farm worker strikes. One of my other uncles was a 3-star general in the military. Um, my aunt, who was my dad's sister, was a social worker. She ran many social programs, drug abuse programs, stuff like that. I spent 30 years in law enforcement. So I come from a family background of social work, of community service, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to extend this community service to the people, to you all, to the expat community that's living here in Mexico. Jesse Freely. I love the bluntness and earnestness when you give your opinion. YouTube would be a lot better with more people with your level of integrity. Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate it. The people in the world are changing and not for the good. I'm around the same age as you, and I feel that I'm getting old. Yeah, I feel I'm getting old too, Anna. I really do. You know what? I look at the younger generation. We have a niece that's in college right now, and my wife and I, we just sit there and says, we don't understand. We don't understand, but it's totally different. We understand that it's different, that today's generation is different, but we just can't understand where a lot of that stuff comes from, why young people are like that. And things have changed. I mean, that's the bottom line. Nature lover. I wish I knew who you were talking about. I appreciate your integrity is why I'm subscribed. Yeah, nature lover. The thing is, I think many people figured it out. Actually, someone put it on Mexico Relocation Guide. I wonder if this is the person he's talking about. I don't like to name names. Most people pretty much figure out who I'm talking about. I don't like to name names in the sense that I still have respect. I don't want anybody to feel that I'm after somebody or that I just don't, if I keep on mentioning the same person over and over again because I keep calling them out. But I think if you run across their channels and you see that behavior, I think I've done my job. If you already know who it is, I think I've done my job. But I still maintain, and part of the integrity too is respect. I respect those people regardless. So several of the people that I get nasty comments back because I have called those people out, even from the people themselves. They've acted in very malicious ways towards me, in a sense. But I still out of respect, will not mention their names. I will not go into detail unless I really have to, because I still maintain that respect, whether a person respects me or disrespects me. I think respect comes from the person themselves first. And I need to be the first person to respect. Even though I'm calling them out, I need to show the respect. And if I don't get respect in return, then at least I'm the better person for showing the respect in the end. Gringos are us. The same here on YouTube. We only have our honesty to present to viewers. Once you lose that, then you're cooked. Yeah, Gringos are us, and I really do appreciate your honesty. You guys, actually, Gringos are us. Let me say something really from the bottom of my heart about Gringos are us. I remember several years ago now that I was doing a live, one of my first lives, and I was doing it with Zoom, and Gringos are us were asking. They were one of the guests that was getting to ask questions. And they hadn't come to Mexico yet. And they asked me if I thought they should do a YouTube channel. I said, yeah, that'd be great. You can share your experience all the way from going to the consulate, all the way to traveling, because they're actually traveling all over Mexico to try to find out where they want to live. And I think they've done an excellent job at going around and say, hey, this is what we did. This is where we're at. And this is what, I haven't been able to keep up with them as much. I try to drop in on their lives and stuff, and they really have kept that honesty going. But the great thing that I love about them is I helped them cross actually, and the thing that I love about them is hey, we're going to tell you how it is, man. This is the way it is. This was our perception, and I really applaud them for being honest, and I really applaud them for being true to the idea. A couple of things YouTubers lie about in Mexico is the weather and prices. I've corrected them in comment section because I've been in some to the same locations in Mexico plenty of time. Yeah, actually, the buck stops here. The problem that a lot of people have is, and I'm not. This is not putting anybody down, and because I need to explain kind of the situation here. The issue that we have in Mexico here, or Americans or Canadians coming to Mexico, is because inflation in the United States, actually Canada's gotten hit really bad with inflation. And in the United States, for those of you that don't know, many people come here as a refuge because they can't afford to live in the United States. Which there's nothing wrong with that. And even though the financial solvency requirements are really high, there are ways of still getting residency here. And so people are able to do it if they qualify for the regularization program or whatever that might be. So at the time, so people come here. But the thing is that you need to understand that because that's kind of the audience, those people that are researching Mexico, not everybody, but a lot of people researching Mexico, people leave for political reasons too. I know that a lot of Canadians leave because they didn't like whatever politically was going on, and even Americans even will say they don't like what's going on in the United States. But a lot of people leave for financial reasons, and this is why I always say you need to really, really, really evaluate it, even if you want to come for financial reasons. Because you're not going to survive if you only come here for financial reasons and expect everything to be like it was where you were before. But when people come here for financial reasons, guess what the audience is? When someone comes across my channel, what do you think they're looking for? They're probably looking when they retired life in Mexico, no bull. Okay, retired life in Mexico. And one of the most common questions I get is, what's the cost of living in San Miguel? I always say it depends. It depends on your level of lifestyle. Can you live on $1,000 a month? Yes. Are you gonna live like a king? Probably not. Can you live on $5,000 a month? Yep. Are you gonna have a nice house, a nice car? Yeah. Can you live on $1 million a month? Yes, you can. There's $1 million mansions here. There's movie stars that live here, or have not live here, but they have homes here. So it's a little bit of an objective thing. So what if I were to say, okay, let me take all the instances of people living here at $1,500 a month. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Those people are going to tune in because number one, it's very popular. How am I going to, oh, he's got the solution. But I am always very careful to say, I don't have the solution. Because I'm in a different situation than maybe the person that lives here $1,500 a month. And I'm also in a different situation than someone that has millions of dollars. So I couldn't tell you. I could tell you what my situation is, but it is only going to equate to the people that. So that's why you have to see. I do agree with you. They lie about the prices or they lie about the weather. But that's their perspective, number one. And number two, that's what gets views. That's what gets people. And you also need to understand that YouTube isn't a main source of revenue for most people. It's the things they sell. It's the sponsorships. I don't know if you've seen any YouTube videos with some people that were like, they look like ear pods. I don't have mine around with me, but they look like ear pods. Actually, one female YouTuber is real big on promoting it on Facebook. I haven't seen her YouTube videos, her doing it on YouTube, but she does it on Facebook. But she's a YouTuber, a big YouTuber. And she says, oh, I found the perfect thing to to translate, and I put these earpods in, and they talk to me, and I can hear it in English on my earpods. Well, what you don't understand is that company, number one, is paying them to do that, and number two, they get a kickback from every single earpod that you buy. And it's I don't know if they even work. I even felt like buying one time because there's several YouTubers that do have tried them and say they work. And I felt like saying, hey, why don't I try it and let's see if it really works, or if these people are really just trying to sell something. But I'm not going to pay the $400 that they're asking for a pair of translation buds when I speak the language. So take care of business, recharge the batteries. Well, yeah, I am going to try to recharge. Hopefully, we have a lot of work to do when you get there. Blaine, not here for the production value. We're here for your wisdom and experience. Who cares how you look? We only care that you are okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Blaine. And I really appreciate that. You know, I really appreciate the support that you guys are giving me in this hard time. You know, it's something, you know, life is going to happen. I've never complained about that. And, you know, this is just another, you know, with every, I'm a firm believer in this. I practiced the martial arts for many years and stuff. And I'm a very firm believer in everything happens for a reason. With every disaster opens up a new opportunity. And actually, maybe it's a new opportunity to make my channel better. Maybe it's a new opportunity where I don't have to worry about going back and forth. Or maybe it's a new opportunity that I can spend more time on my videos, on my YouTube station, more time to do what I have passion for. Not necessarily only YouTube. I like all the gadgets and everything else and editing videos. And as you see, next week I'm going to be streaming and an event and mixing their music into a music video, or getting them helping the mixing engineer actually create a music video. This sound engineer is actually creating a studio down here in San Miguel, and hopefully I can add to his portfolio, so we can get some big names down here to record and maybe even do shows down here. So, you know, and I'm not part of his business or anything else. I'm just helping him because I think it's cool. Those are the passions I want to follow. And maybe having a house is too much of a burden. So I don't see this as a bad thing. The only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to miss all you guys. That's the bottom line. Yes, and actually what I was just about to say, actually I didn't bring your comment up, Anna, when I was just saying that right now. Life has its ups and downs, and sometimes we don't understand why. Later on, you look back and think, yes, I understand. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with the band Linkin Park. They sing a song called "In the End," and it has nothing to do with, but you can be applied to life. But they use the famous saying, "In the end, when you've gone so far, you tried so hard, but in the end, it really doesn't matter." And so that's what happened. That's exactly what you're saying, Anna. In the end, when you look back, it really didn't matter. So it's just a matter of, and I'm a big proponent of live life in the present. And I'm taking care of a present situation. And when I come back, no regrets, whatever happens. Jet lag, sorry. Yeah, thank you, jet lag, for the tell the truth and let people draw their own conclusions. But it's only the way. It's only way to keep one's sanity. Yes, and the truth always comes out in the end anyway. Actually, believe it or not, when I was talking about this YouTuber, this wasn't the first video he did 3 months ago or 2 months ago. He actually did a video before that. The reason why I saw his price list, and I'm not going to show it, I have screenshots of it, is because he has a website or a blog where he published that I can do collaborations, and he was bragging about how many subscribers he has and how many views and his analytics. And he said, specifically, if you want to promote a product, I'll do a video promoting your product, pretending that I discovered your product and push your product. Then he started pushing products, and people were like, this sounds like a commercial. Are you sure there's not a paid promotion? And then I started calling him out. Other people started calling him out. And all of a sudden, paid promotion shows up on his on his video about it. And then people got worried because I was warning people about something. And he tried to cover it up because he said, well, yeah, it's a paid promotion. I forgot to put the thing on. But this was after several days. And then he made another video because this dollar app uses cryptocurrency. And I was warning people that they're also acting like a bank. You might end up having to file FBARs. And he came back and said, no, here's the regulation. You don't have to file FBARs. And I said, no, I worked with FinCEN, the actual people you file FBARs with. I was an actual liaison to them. That's not true. And let me explain the law to you. And I actually made the comment on his video. And all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I was hidden. So those are not the type of, those are not the type of behaviors to be doing. That's when you start covering things up like that, that's not being honest. And then he came out with other things in his comments. Of course, when people started giving him a hard time, I only endorse products that I use and that come on, dude, admit to the people you're just getting paid to do this. There's nothing wrong with it. You have a big audience. It's a TV commercial. Do the commercial. But you don't need to lie to your people. And that's what really kills me. And what kills me is it's an actual YouTuber that I look up to. So San Cristobal de las Casas high was 64 today. It was downright chilly here. We are ready to return to the warmth tomorrow when we go to Huatuco. You're gonna like Huatuco. Actually, I enjoyed it a lot. Down where you're at right now, Gringos R Us, it is kind of cold. You're up in the altitude too. I don't know how. I wonder how you guys are handling the altitude. I know that when we get to San Miguel and it's only 6,000 feet above sea level, we have to deal with the altitude. Yeah, you're using a space heater. I can imagine. Hey, Lisa, how's it going? Steffi, yeah. Ernie, got to think about a meetup in your alumni here in San Miguel. Yeah, you know what? I should. And actually, this has been brought up to me, and I actually yeah, let's do it. And I've been really, really looking at trying to put something together. But the problem is that we were building this house for the last 2 years. We went back and forth. We were in Monterrey most of the time. But that would be really cool. I do run into people here in San Miguel that, tell me, hey, I watch your channel all the time. And I know a lot of people here in San Miguel that, either come up to me or we talk or, I know them personally or whatever. And, it would be really great for all of us to get together, to be honest with you. Or actually, the other thing that I've told people is if you're going to be in town, let me know. I've met up with several people that were in town here that were coming through. And actually, Rick, I was just telling him, hey, reach out to me and maybe we can get together before I go back to Monterrey. I really like sitting down with everybody and talking and having fun. And that would be really cool. To be honest with you, that would be really cool to do something like that. I just haven't had the time to. I just haven't had the time to, plan it. But maybe, and actually, hopefully, what I might do if we do plan it, I might just try to do it on my Facebook because I got to figure out a way to, maybe I'll also announce it on the thing, but see what we can do and see how many people we can get together. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. I appreciate you not naming the YouTuber. Yeah, and like I said, it's out of respect. Hola a todos. Estoy muy tarde. Welcome, Deanna. I don't know how much you missed, but bottom line is I was just telling people that I was leaving because my house got flooded in Monterrey. Yeah, most of us know who the YouTuber is. Yeah, and that's what I figured too, Anna. And that's why I don't put out the name because it sounds like I might have a personal vendetta. Um, the only time I have said something is when someone actually mentions him by name and I'm replying like, hey, you know what? I know you're suggesting this person, but he no longer lives in Mexico. His information's outdated. Stuff is changing all the time. I'm not saying that he doesn't have good videos. And also, I just have questions as to his integrity. And that's when all of a sudden threads get deleted. I know that he has a lot of influence in a lot of groups. So a lot of stuff gets deleted right away. But I'm going to speak my mind. Actually, I'm not even talking about a YouTuber. I know a very, very prominent person in the expat service community that decided that they were going to jump on some information before it became, they were going to jump on some information before, like they were going to be the first one to release it. Well, the problem is they had the information wrong, and I called it out, and everybody thought I had a personal vendetta against that expat service person. I don't. And actually, I recommend that to this day. I recommend that expat service person. Uh, I got kicked out of all of their communications. I got silenced by them, but that expat service, but I still recommend them. I don't take anything. I don't take anything personal. You made a mistake. Own up to it. That's all you have to do. The problem is sometimes people don't want to own up to it. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call you out. And if you own up to it, I have all the respect for you. If you don't own up to it, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to do, but I got a lot of nasty messages from fans of that person or that expat service. And they were very upset that I even dared say anything about them. And I'm like, no, well, I mean, that's the way I'm going to be. I call it like I see it. And if I'm wrong, I'm the first one to say, I'm the first one to apologize. I will apologize. I don't have any problems doing that. I just hope they have not put any pressure. Nah, actually, Anna, nobody's put any pressure on me. Um, Nobody. When I call out people, the only reaction I get is delete, delete, hide, try to minimize. That's what usually happens. It never happened. Uh, no, actually, that expat service person, when I did the video, immediately changed their website and immediately changed their tone and made some like it never happened, like they never released that information before. They deleted their comments. So I don't get pressure. I actually maybe I get something done in a positive direction. Actually, that person corrected everything, so that's a win. That's a win because everybody got the correct information. And yeah, maybe I don't agree with their methods of let me pretend nothing's not happening, or let me hide it, or let me pretend, or let me delete the comments I made. But that's to each their own. But at least we got the correct information out there. Deanna J. Harney, please don't go. You have a wonderful story and people should hear. Thank you, Deanna. I'm not going. I'm going just for a little while. I'm not quitting. As you notice, this is taking a break from YouTube. So I'm not going to quit. I don't think my job has been done yet as far as keeping people informed. So I really won't. I won't quit. And actually, one of the things that I do with my live streams and stuff, I try to keep it personal. I try to give you a glimpse into our life. And I'm even telling you what happened to me about my flooding in Monterrey. So, um, you know, uh, I like, I give my personal story, and giving your personal story. That's the other thing too, is giving my personal story of why I came to Mexico, why I live here, um, hopefully inspires other people. Maybe they're not in the same position as I am, but it inspires people to want to come. And also it inspires people to embrace the culture here. And let me tell you something. When my house flooded in the morning, we called at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not kidding you. Well, one of my neighbors had the key. They went over there. They called us. Oh my God, your house is underwater. There's water coming out the front door. They hadn't even opened the door yet because they couldn't get it open with the key, and they had to go to another door. And they called us, and I'm not kidding you. We have a chat and WhatsApp. My whole neighborhood, everybody in my neighborhood was at my house within 15 to 20 minutes, putting stuff, furniture. We're going to don't worry about it. We're taking everything out the floor. They were FaceTiming us. Look, do you need this? Do you need that? What do I do with this? What do I do with that? And actually, up until probably not only that, but let me tell you something. When we got a hold of the contractor got all the workers. The workers, we got a little bit close to them because they're working on our house. All the workers stopped everything they were doing. Get over to their house right now. We need to stop the water. There were some workers there till 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Didn't eat lunch. Most of my neighbors didn't eat lunch. Didn't eat all day. They were in our house mopping. That's one of the beauties of being here in Mexico, the sense of community. If you live in a neighborhood like we live in Monterrey. If it wouldn't have been for our neighbors, we would have been here helpless, not knowing what to do. And we have that same kind of community here, even in where we live here. We help each other out. We talk. Not too long ago, there was a person having a panic attack. We thought it was a heart attack. They called us. What's up? We were in Monterrey. We called the guards. The guards got the Red Cross out there, and thank God it was just a heart attack and not a panic attack and not a heart attack. So that's the beauty of the community, and I want everybody to see that. It's just beautiful. So exactly, everything happens for a reason, and just have faith. Yes, Anna, it's true. You have faith, and you do what you need to do, and everything works out in the end. I've gone through a lot in my life, and including cancer, and everything worked out. Cancer led me to Mexico. So you can say what first turned out as a disaster, and am I going to die, turned out to be my future. I'm sitting in beautiful San Miguel de Allende, living here. Yes, we purchased the house before I got cancer, but we never thought we were going to be living here permanently. We were going to just try it out. And I'm still here several years later, over 5 years, surviving cancer, number one. And not only that, but grateful that it brought me to Mexico. Nature, you are blessed. You're blessed with a good soul and a perfect attitude of gratitude, Ernie. A couple of other reasons people prefer your channel. Yes, and I'm grateful for my community. I'm grateful for everything that has happened to me. And you know what? Probably even going to be grateful for this disaster, because it's probably going to open up new doors. Every disaster opens up a new opportunity. I truly believe that. The only thing is we need to find out how to open up that opportunity. Douglas, please don't stop. I very much enjoy your shows. And help me plan for my wife and my eventual retirement in Huate. Douglas, I'm not going away. I'm still going to be around. Also, if people still reach out for my consultations, I've been able to do 1 or 2 of them on the phone. I'm still available. The only thing is, like I've always said, you need to work around my schedule. I have a scheduling app, if you reach out to me, I'll direct you to the scheduling app if I have room, and I'll still be doing those. I'm not stopping. I won't stop. I promise. I'm just going to be away for a while because I just need to concentrate. Actually, when I told Anna that it always opens up a new opportunity, uh, I need to open up that opportunity, but I need time to concentrate so that I can open up that new opportunity. What? But San Cristobal, I thought I thought it's actually higher there in because you're in San Cristobal. Am I correct, Gringos or us? I think because Chiapas is higher than we are actually, but I'm not sure because I thought, to be honest with you, I thought you were way. Now I'll tell you what. Now is it getting? And let me ask you a question though, Gringos. Is it getting warm during the day? I mean, like into the 90s? Because we get here. Well, right now it's raining, so it's probably in the 70s or 60s. Probably you need a jacket right now to go outside. But and during the days it's not in the 90s. But I'm not sure because I thought you were in San Cristobal. Maybe I'm behind on you guys. Hey Ray, how's it going? If you can put up an odd message, and we can send you our wishes. I'll definitely put up messages on my community tab to let you know how we. Actually, I might even send some pictures of the damage and stuff. So, well, actually, you're still higher than we are. 7,000 feet. You said you're at 7,000 feet. Hold on, because I just saw it on this side. Let me go back. You're still higher than us because I think we're at 5,000. You're still about 1,000 feet higher. Hold on here. Yeah. Yeah, you're at 7,000. You're a little bit higher. You're still a little bit higher than we are. How are you dealing with the, no, it's cold all day? Damp and windy. Yeah, actually, because you're a little bit, see, the thing is, we're in hill country here, but it's kind of desert. And I'm not too familiar with Santa Cruz. You probably are more familiar with it than I am because you're there. But my understanding is it's more mountainous there in the sense of you're kind of in the mountains. And so you probably get a lot more breeze, damp, probably because of it's rainy season. We're damp here too. But that's probably why you're getting those temperatures. So, but and you said you're going to be back in Querétaro soon. Well, let's see if hopefully you'll be back in Querétaro. It will be back in the same time, so we can hook up. Tom M. Hi, Ernie. Got here late, so unfortunately not able to follow the conversation yet. Ernie, we all know you are a stand-up guy. Thank you for your honesty. Tom, basically, I'm just going to give you a recap. The recap is that this is the bottom line. My house in Monterrey flooded, so I'm going to have to go back to Monterrey to take care of business. I don't know how long it's going to take. The extent of the damage, the house is kind of almost totally totaled, basically. And so we're going to have a lot of negotiations. I'm going to go down. We're flying down there in 2 weeks. And we don't know how much cleanup we're going to have to do. We're flying down, not driving down. So since we're flying down, we're just flying down to see the extent of the damage and everything else. And then we can't get there via car because Highway 57, which gets us there, is totally closed down, totally inundated, flooded. There's several major highways that are down right now and flooded. I wish I could do a video about it, but like I said, we're more in shock right now that I just can't think. But the highways, we don't know how long they're going to take to fix. So that's why I'm not sure how long of a hiatus I'm going to be able to take, or I'm going to take. So, Anna, do they have a company like Service Master here? Our business got flooded out in a storm, and it's amazing what they can do. No, actually, we don't. Um, and the contractors are doing everything they can to try to get everything solved. Right now, commercial dehumidifiers, etc. Yeah, right now the problem that we have is in Monterrey, it's still raining. It's still going to be raining into the next week, and it's going to be torrential rains. So right now, the contractors are just trying to control. There's still water coming into our house, actually, believe it or not. There's still water coming into our house. They've been able to contain it to a certain area. Here in Mexico, they make these little drains in certain parts of your house so that they're emergency drains. But in the old days, what people used to do is pour water down on the floors and then squeegee the floors and mop the floors, and then the water would go down the drain. Now it's more of a precautionary measure, of what I can understand, because people don't do that anymore. I know they were still doing that in Brazil, but what they've been able to do is contain the water to where the main source of water is coming in, and they've been able to block off the water from coming into the rest of the house, and then they've been able to direct the water to the drain. There's some drains in that area. There's a bathroom in that area where the water's coming in, and also a laundry room and also that's why the drains are there, because of the bathroom, in case you have a flood in the bathroom or a flood in the laundry room. So they're able to do that. And they're going to try to do their best. They're doing their best going in there and trying to dry out the rest of the house with the ceiling fans and stuff like that. But the problem is right now is there's really not much we can do because it's still raining. I mean, literally. Not only that, I will mention that not only did my neighbors sit out there and clear all the water out of the house, the construction workers yesterday sat in the rain, sopping wet, trying to not fix the house, but trying to get the house going. So I really did appreciate, and that's community. That's the kind of community that I found down here in Mexico that I never found. I mean, yeah, I had great neighbors before back home and everything else, but nothing like this, where the whole neighborhood comes together. As a matter of fact, in our chat, when everybody's like, "Hey, vecino is your neighbor. Vecinos, this is happening in their house. I'll be right there. I'll be right there." That's all I saw was, "I'll be right there. I'll be right there. I'll be right there." And we had the whole neighborhood helping us. So. I agree with that, Jana J. and Nature. It's all feasible and doesn't add to your stress. Knowing how to handle difficult and challenging situations in another country would be helpful. Yes, I'm going to try to let me see if I can document a lot of the stuff that I guess a lot of times I don't film because I'm so tied up in the moment. But hopefully, you know. I do want to stress that it is stressful moving to a different country. It is challenging, and those are the things that I try to get across in my channel. One of my biggest things in my channel has always been, always know the consequences. If you want to do it, don't worry, do it, but always know the consequences. And, it's the same thing. If you don't want to speak Spanish, always know the consequences. So I don't tell people what to do. I just try to guide them in, hey, look, it's going to be a little bit hard. It's going to be changing. There's going to be a lot of things changing. As a matter of fact, right now, for example, we don't carry home insurance here. So, all of this loss, and then the legal system is totally different here. We're going to come across a lot of different challenges here that are different than in the United States, and where I come from. So, it's gonna be challenging. It really is, but we're up for the challenge. I know that we're not in a good place right now, but we're up for the challenge. Several of my favorite YouTubers have quit for weird reasons. One couple just got burnt out. Another quit for a year, but came back. Anyways, we all enjoy your content, Ernie, or we wouldn't be here. Thank you, Deanna J. Actually, I'm not quitting, and I won't quit. I promise. uh, uh, you just got to remember that it's just something that, and like I said, this is not a, I mean, if this was a job for me, it would be like, I don't know, send my wife to take care of the situation down there. But I don't think it's fair that my wife goes down there by herself. We're both in this together. So my family's my priority. Um, and so we have a lot of things that we need to do. And luckily, this isn't a job for me. Um, I'm fortunate enough that I don't need the money, and I'm not here because I need it. I'm here because I'm trying to help. But at the same time, uh, it's the same thing with my. I know that some consults that I've done have taken several weeks to get scheduled because I don't have time. Uh, but I try to get to everybody. I try my best. But I'm not going to quit. I promise you. I promise everybody that I'm not going to quit. And actually, and somebody, I think Gringos R Us says it, don't forget to post every 6 months or your monetization will go away. And trust me, I'll be back before 6 months is over. Actually, don't be surprised if I show up next week on my iPad in the backyard of either one of my family members or even at my house in the backyard if I can get my Wi-Fi working again because my router got ruined. But I got another one. But don't be surprised if I'm back on next week saying, "Hey, I'm here, surprise." But most you'll probably see out of me is surprise lives, or if something I need to get out important, I'll get it out. I promise. Stephanie Beckman, love our neighbors in San Miguel. They keep an eye on things for us. Yeah, exactly. And same thing here in San Miguel. They keep an eye. Actually, as a matter of fact, even the guards are really good here. I'm probably sure that when you tell them that you're going to be gone, they take a good they keep an eye on your house and your neighbors. And I'm almost sure, Stephanie, if you actually, I don't know if this is true, but I'm almost sure you have a WhatsApp group because we have a WhatsApp group for here and we have a WhatsApp group for the other place too. And all the neighbors, whatever they might have, we keep each other informed all the time. I've never had a WhatsApp group. The last place I lived in the United States, we had a homeowners association, and the only contact I had was with the property manager, but no other contact. And the neighbors, hello, how are you doing? But all of the activities, all of that stuff was a property manager. We never could get a group together. Jesse, part of the reason why I want to come to Mexico is I'm trying to find community like you described. I'm a bit worried though because this tall white chick stands out. How hard is it to find a community? Actually, Jesse, you'll be very surprised how easy it is to find a community. First of all, depending where you go in Mexico, there's going to be other expats, immigrants, whatever you want to call them, because I've gotten in trouble for that too by saying expat or immigrant. But you're going to find other people in your same situation. One of the things that I have actually suggested to a lot of people is find other expats in the area because they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to tell you where the best taco stand is. They're going to be able to tell you, but at the same time, little by little, you start to integrate with the local community, and you'll be surprised. Even if you don't speak the language, even if you struggle to communicate, you'll be surprised how welcoming the Mexican people are, and you'll be surprised how much they even want to talk to you and learn English, and maybe you can learn some Spanish. And, the one thing that, yes, the Mexican people, let me explain. I want to say it's a yes and no answer. The Mexican people are judgmental in a sense of it's a very classist society here in Mexico. As a matter of fact, we've seen this in the political elections, the most recent political elections. It's been kind of the middle class, upper class versus the poor class. And the poor class is these people don't work and we're giving all our social programs away when they don't realize that welfare exists everywhere. But there's just a lot of this stuff. And then uh, the people that got elected are into social programs. I'm not into politics, like I said. So, but here's the difference here. When you're a foreigner here, usually class doesn't apply to you because you're a foreigner. So no one sees you as, oh, you're the poor person. Like from the middle class, they don't see you as, oh, you're the poor person. Or the poor person doesn't see you as, oh, you're the upper class. So you're kind of in a class by yourself. So you can get around, you can get not away, you can get along with anybody. So you can get along with your, as a matter of fact, I know many people that have actually taken on their local neighbors or their family, helped families and everything else, and become part of a family in Mexico. And Gringos R Us just said it right now. Not hard at all. Just move in and be yourself. Whatever you give the wonderful people in Mexico, it's returned tenfold. It truly is wonderful. And Gringos R Us has a very good point. So that is what's the community. You will find community here, and even if you find community in the other expats, because I know a lot of people that don't hang out with any Mexican. They hang out just with. I mean, I don't think that's the right thing to do in a sense because you kind of live in a bubble, and there's so much more outside that bubble to discover. I don't put them down. When I say I don't agree that that's something to do, is I say, hey, you think it's cool with all the Americans here or all the Canadians or all the expats and you live in the same neighborhood and you all kind of hang out and you don't go anywhere else and you don't speak the language. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but there's so much more. It's like outside that bubble, it's tenfold, 50-fold, 100-fold what you're experiencing inside the bubble. You just have to be open to it. Let me see. Yeah, the forest. You're in the forest. Yeah, because you're in the mountains and probably. And it's been great. I bet you have a beautiful view. Not as deserty as San Miguel. Actually, we enjoy when we go back to Monterrey. Monterrey's a valley between two mountains. And we just enjoy because the mountains are nothing but green. We don't go up into the mountains, but there's a lot of clubs that go up there and hike. Was in Ponocos last week for an oldies concert. Certainly not the elevation that you guys are at, but our ears pop on the way up nevertheless. Yeah, actually, we experience all of that when we're driving. Excuse me. Let me. I'm sorry about that. When we're driving, we experience that a lot. So we experience the ears popping and everything. But the problem we have, Tom, is when we get here, but we've kind of acclimatized. We adjust a lot quicker. But you're just sleepy, no energy. We get some people get headaches. So okay, have a good night. Much luck with your house in Monterrey, Ernie and Yamilet. Thank you, Cindy. Douglas, Jess, Gringos, yes. Nice to be in the community that says hello in the morning and such. WDC is the worst. Hence, where love the people in Guatemala helps wife is from here. Yeah, Douglas. Actually, we had, you know what? We had a very awesome. I know that you commented on my Guatemala stuff and I know that you had made some comments that you kind of were going to go that way, but we really enjoyed Guatemala a lot. We got the same vibe as Mexico, to be honest with you, as far as community, as far as all of that stuff, and I do totally agree with you. You're picking a good place. And your wife being from there is probably even better because she's going to know exactly what to do, where to go, and you have family there. You have a whole support system there. So, and I'll tell you what, family's everything in the Latin culture. Um, when it comes to pulling together, they always do. Uh, that's very important here in Mexico and in Guatemala and in most Latin American countries that I've traveled to. Gringos are us, Jesse. We have made friends in every city that we have lived in here in Mexico so far. We're in our 11th city, and the people just treat others in such a great way. They speak, they smile, and they love it. And I'm almost sure Gringos are us. You're probably improving your Spanish, but I bet you they accept you for who you are. And I know that you have made some community posts where you even kind of even were adopted into several families when you've been on your trip. And that's very true. It's very easy to become part of the community. You just have to be willing to, and you have to be open to it and not embarrassed. If you can say only 2 Spanish words, that's great. And you know, I don't speak Spanish properly. I was raised in the United States. I don't conjugate my verbs all the time. I use made up words because sometimes I'm just make up a word. And my wife's looking at me like, what the heck are you talking about? And she knows what I'm talking about because I make up the word. But that's very common in South Texas, where I was also raised. But, you know, we sit down and I even laugh at myself when I make mistakes because, you know, it's like, do you know what you just told me? Oh, man. You know, so we have fun. And as long as you have fun, and nobody's going to insult you because you spoke wrong. I mean, we have a lot of fun making fun of each other because because I said something wrong. And then, you know, and then I'll say something back like, oh, I meant to say it wrong because of this, this, and this. But we have fun. And that's what's important. And trust me, most people are going to understand what you're trying to communicate. It's going to become frustrating trying to, but eventually you're going to do it. And I know a lot of Americans that have moved and Canadians that have moved down here that speak very good Spanish. The one way to learn it is just start doing it. And I did that in Brazil. When I moved to Brazil, I had to learn Portuguese. I literally went back to my hotel room every day and studied, and I suffered through. Actually, the first time I went to speak Portuguese to somebody, because a lot of people speak English, especially in the capital, I had gotten all my stuff together because I had my laundry because I was living in a hotel before they found me a house, and I had all my laundry and what I was going to say to the laundromat lady, and I got all the words together and the sentences together, and it's very similar to Spanish, so I sounded like I was speaking Portuguese very perfectly, and I made a comment in Portuguese, said, okay, I want these. When are you going to have them back for me? And she started in Portuguese, like super fast. And I'm just looking at her like, Spanish? English? And she just started laughing. We just started laughing. And because she spoke perfect English. She says, oh, you're learning Portuguese? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, let me slow down. And we had a fun time. So... have already moved to the U.S. and become citizens the correct way. Believe me, it's a lot cheaper and easier to do it in Mexico. It is. It is. I was part of the immigration process when I was working, and it's very convoluted, and people take years. My wife, I guess she was petitioned for when she was in her teens and didn't get it till later in life, and it was a very long process. Um, Douglas loved, always know the consequences. It reminds me of what an instructor of mine used to say back in the day. Thanks, Douglas. Actually, instructors used to tell me the same thing too. That saying, and actually I always say that, but I'll tell you what, throughout my career, a lot of instructors used to tell me the same thing. I think I adopted that. I didn't come up with that. It's not an original, but I live by it. I live by it. And I even used to live by that when making decisions, because a lot of times in my job, I had to make decisions that might have resulted in, or I had to weigh the negative consequences versus the positive consequences, and we had to take action on something. And I'm like, okay, what are the consequences? That was the first thing we'd always say. What are the consequences of doing this? What are the consequences of doing that? And then we make the decision on which way we're going to go. And we always had to figure out what are the rules along with the consequences, because you can get in a lot of trouble if you don't do it the right way. So anything from losing a case to being in trouble with our internal affairs. So that was a very big thing. It was just always knowing the consequences, but also knowing the consequences when you're doing an operation and what could happen. Because if one of us, there was a consequence of a possible one of us not coming home, we didn't do it. And that's the way it used to work. We used to always evaluate the consequences first. And that's why I guess I'm so bent on always knowing the consequences and always knowing the rules. And even if you have to bend the rules, because I was put in very many situations where the rules just don't apply. It's like you're trying to apply the rules, and it's like, okay, if I do this, I break this rule. If I do this, I break this rule. Which is the lesser of the evils? Or which one is there an exception to the rule? Because there might be an exception or whatever. Oh, okay, wait, we can do this because, or you know what, we're not going to do it at all. So you have to look at all that stuff. D.W. Martin, when are you coming back to Puerto Morelos? Actually, hopefully soon. I don't know when. We have a timeshare there. We just haven't had a chance to use the points, in the sense that actually we used the points. We used to go to Guatemala, but hopefully soon. We always try to make a yearly trip back there, DW. We always try. It always is a fun time over there. Sometimes we stay in Cozumel, though. When you rent long-term in Mexico, neighbors really watch out for you. Yes, they do. Your Mexican neighbors, yes. And actually, I live in my neighborhood. I'm the only, well, actually, we have one other person that's from South Texas that lives there, but all of my neighbors in Monterrey are Mexican. In my neighborhood here in San Miguel, all of them are Mexican, with the exception of, like I said, there's a retired guy that used to work for NASA that lives down in my neighborhood here. Stephanie, we talk to them all the time, and they send us pictures of how all our new plants are doing. And I even bet you they even take care of your new plants too, Stephanie. Yeah, community is a big thing. I feel local community is more important than expats. Yeah, Anna, it is. Like I said, you're going to end up living no matter where you live. Now, there are some areas that it's only Americans and expats, or Canadians and people from foreigners, but that's not the norm. You're always going to have. You're going to end up in a neighborhood. Like I said, I ended up in a neighborhood with only one expat here. And then in Mexico, in Monterrey, I don't have any neighbors that are from foreigners, actually. And actually, the person I said is from South Texas. He grew up there, but he's actually born and raised in Mexico. So he it really is from Mexican, to be honest with you. So I was the only one that in that neighborhood. So it is a lot. It is very important. What I tell people is, yes, it is good to find your own people to help you get around and everything else. But then you need to break out of that bubble, and you're going to find it more rewarding to live with the local people. That is the truth. Hey, Michael, how's it going? I'm just about to end here. Oh, you just got out of the gym? I'm going to have some carne asada. Actually, I've been eating nothing but vegetables lately. Enjoy the carne asada. I'm not a vegetarian, but we've been eating a lot of vegetables lately because up north in Monterrey, we were in Monterrey, and it's nothing but carne asada, carne asada, carne asada. And so we're kind of taking a break from the meat for a little while. So enjoy, Michael. I really appreciate it. You dropping in. Jesse Freely, my first goal when I get there is to find an immersion school. No bubbles for me. That's a great attitude to have, Jesse. That's a great attitude to have. Um, I I talked about how when I went to Brazil, I tried to learn the language as quickly as possible, and I immersed myself in the culture. Not only that, but at the government level in Brazil, um, most of the people that I dealt with, even the federal police, all the people that I dealt with were lawyers. Um, because in the federal police, the structure in the federal police there in Brazil is that they have what they call a agente, an agent, and then they have a delegado. And the delegados are lawyers. The justice system is a little bit different. So most of the individuals that were in director positions and everything else, they were an actual lawyer by trade, because basically the federal police in Brazil, the delegado does all the work that a prosecutor would normally do. It's kind of a weird situation. But in Brazil, if you're at that level of education as a lawyer, as an engineer, you usually are required in college to learn either English or Spanish because it's Latin America, or English because you deal with. And most people in government positions, they speak English because usually a lot of business is done within governments in English. So when I used to go to a meeting, they always used to ask me, "Hey, we can do this." And actually, most of them can speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And they would say, "If you want to speak in Spanish or you want to speak in English, that's fine. We understand you. You can talk to us in English." And I always used to say, and I had a Brazilian that worked in our office, and she would translate or he would translate. 'Cause we had several, and he would translate or she would translate for me. And I said, "No, I have a translator here. We're going to do the meeting in Portuguese. If I don't understand anything, please let me. If I interrupt and I don't understand anything, I'll have my translator translate it for me, and I'm going to try to speak Portuguese. And I apologize if my Portuguese is really bad, but we're going to try to conduct this meeting in Portuguese." And I got more respect from that. I probably got more respect from that than any other time that I ever worked. Actually, it was a great diplomatic tool. And actually, they were like, "Well, but we want to practice our English. Yeah, you're the lucky one that gets to practice Portuguese." And well, we want to. I said, "Okay, fine. You speak in English, and I'll speak in Portuguese." And we used to have fun. Actually, I had more fun in my meetings, and we were doing high level stuff with between our governments, and had more fun. I was meeting with Supreme Court justices, all that stuff, and we had just the idea of language and cross culture and speaking to each other in our native language or their native language, and them speaking to me in my native language. It goes a million miles, and I see that here in Mexico. All of Latin America is like that, and that no matter at what level. When I worked with the Mexican government, same thing. First words out of my mouth is "excuse my Spanish" is not as good. Even though I'm Hispanic, I grew up in the United States. I don't speak Spanish that well, and I actually didn't start speaking Spanish till later in life. So please excuse me, and don't worry. And I'm sitting here talking. I'm sitting in the office with the director of SAT, the director of immigration. These are important people that I'm sitting in and with my broken Spanish. But you know what? It didn't matter because we were all on the same team, and they understood. They understood the fact that they respected the fact that I was willing to speak my broken Spanish and embarrass myself in front of them. And actually, it would be funny because I would embarrass myself and say, "Oh, shoot, I said that. I'm sorry." Or I would say a cuss word and they would just start laughing. But they knew why, because I told them, "Hey, look," but they respected. It's all about respect. It gets you there. DW Martin, my Spanish gets better after a few tequilas. Actually, my Spanish gets a little bit worse. But actually, maybe it gets better. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe I just think it gets worse. Yeah, all your neighbors are Mexican, Stephanie. Yeah, Zirandero is a lot of people from Mexico cities with second houses. People probably your neighbors probably are mostly Mexican. Um, Actually, I've gone an hour and 40 minutes. Anybody have anything else to comment or ask any questions? I think I'll cut it off now. Um, like I said, I'm not leaving for good. Um, I just need to take care of this. Um, excuse me. I need to take care of this situation. I need to be 100%. I need to be at the top of my game, to be honest with you, because this is going to be a lot of negotiations and a lot of, um, you know, we're trying to right now find an inspector to go out there to look at the structural damage of the house to see what the cause was. We have an idea what the cause was, but we need to document all of that so that we can somehow come out of this, at least recuperate most of what we put into it. I don't think we are. That's just a fact of life. But they're not going to change our direction. We're going to come back here to San Miguel. I'm going to get back on the bandwagon, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more videos out. Maybe I'll be able to get some surprise lives. My wife is the one that always pokes me. Hey, do a surprise live now. Do a surprise live now. And I'm like, okay. So the only thing with the surprise lives that I'm going to mention to you guys, I don't know what's going on with the iPhone software. It's an iPhone software that I use. It's also for Android. But I actually put the little chat window like I do here I don't know which side it is. It comes out on one. It comes out on my right side because I'm looking at it this way. But the little chat window, I usually put it up, and that's how I actually answer questions. Because here, the software I'm using here, I have an actual chat coming down on the left-hand side of my screen. And then I put the chat up here for you guys to watch. But I supposedly am able to do it on that. I don't know what happened when I was in Guatemala. The first time it didn't work, and people were like, "Well, we're chatting," and I'm like, nobody's saying anything, and it's not popping up. And then I saw a button, and for some reason, I had to turn it on or something, and it worked. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I have it down pat. And then I put the little chat window in the right-hand corner or my left-hand corner, me watching the phone. And then I went, okay, don't hide chat or whatever, or show chat. And it's not showing up. I don't know if it's a bug in one of the updates, but what I was able to do in this last chat, the last one, my wife gave me her phone, so I was looking at the chat and I was able to answer questions. So if we do that, I might have to get on I'll get on my iPad or whatever, and then I'll just get on my phone and look at the chat or try to listen to the live, not listen to, but so you might see me holding my phone going, okay, and reading the chat, but we'll do the best we can. And like I said, I'll probably try to drop in as much as I can. But if you don't see me for a while, that's where I'm at. I didn't quit. I didn't leave. And while you're waiting for me to come back, as I always say, stay safe, and most importantly, stay informed and do your research.